Hello there, friends, and welcome back to Sesh Cast. My name is GLDLX. This is Sesh Cast, a cannabis podcast for cannabis sessions, and today I'm pulling a do-over, man. I'm gonna try this again. I already recorded this episode once. It wasn't this exact episode. It was just the episode that was supposed to be episode number 38, and it did not go well. Like, just so poorly. And I'll talk about that more a little bit later. But long story short, this is my second attempt at an episode for this week because the first one I did just didn't go, and that's okay with me. But luckily, I found some time to sit down and record again and sort of cramming it into a window, but at least I got a window to cram it into, and I'm very excited for that. Now that you've heard me explain what I'm doing today, this is Sesh Cast. It is a podcast that I do where I get high and I talk about stuff. I am GLDLX. Hello, it's nice to meet you. Thanks for swinging by the podcast today. I really appreciate it. Thanks to everyone who continues to listen and continues to just give me mad amounts of support. It means the world. Holy smokes. I've just had a lot of people say nice things to me on Instagram this week, and it's been very, very great. It's been really helpful, actually. I've been super crazy busy and just super overwhelmed with like work and life and just everything this week. And so I've had a lot of people hit me up on Instagram and just say some nice things. And that's been really cool. So thank you so much to those of you who have been just hitting me up and giving me some back office support. I really, really appreciate it. Maybe I should get into some weed related things. So I have, what do I have today? What did I just put in? Gelato in here. I just got it from the store maybe a week ago. I would say about a week ago. It's really great. I like it. It's very, very pungent. It's one of my favorite smelling strains that I've ever had. I think it's just so like fruity, and there's citrus in there. There's like some really deep fruit in there. All sorts of different flavors, and it just smells so good. I've smoked a bowl of something else, which might have just been like a grab bag mix of like, because I've got gelato right now, I've got Diamond OG right now, and I've got Alien OG right now. And so I think that all three of those might have ended up in my grinder at one point, and that might have been the first bowl that I smoked today. But this bowl is gelato. It smells super great. I'll try and give you a little bit of a flavor definition, but I'm not very good at that, and I'm already pretty high, so we'll see how that goes. Today I am smoking out of a piece I have not used on the show yet, except for that show that I recorded and then am not going to use. This is my new pipe that I got from Seattle Hemp Fest by Rad Brad. Brad's Rad Glass. Rad Brad Glass. Rad Brad's Brad's Rad Glass. That's what I would call it if it was me. Rad Brad's Rad Glass. But you need a way for glass to rhyme with rad. I don't know. Anyway, Rad Brad made this. He is a really cool glass artist who I got to meet out at Seattle Hemp Fest. You can find him on Instagram at Rad Brad Glass. That's what it is, at Rad Brad Glass. He was a really awesome guy. So I went to Seattle Hemp Fest a couple of weeks ago. I've talked about this a whole bunch, and I, being a big glass collector, was really on the hunt for some true local glass. And I found a lot of really cool glass at Hemp Fest, but a lot of it was just way more big box than I wanted it to be. You know, I was looking for small and local and not unheard of by any means, but just someone who I knew every piece on the table came through their hands and they put it together and yada yada yada. So I bumped into Brad. He was at a booth with another local glass artist who, of course, his name I'm not going to remember. But they just had a very small setup, very modest, versus, you know, everybody else had like bins and crates of extra stuff and pedal off as much as we can. But these guys just had some cool heady pieces. Each just had like, man, a little like 6x6, maybe 8x6 inch table, foot by 6-inch table, really small, to just show off some of their stuff. And Brad has this whole line of textured pieces, like fully textured. Oh snap! I gotta plug my computer in. Please hold. I'll be right back. To my microphone, plugging in. There we go. Wake up. All right. Okay, we're good. Sorry about that. Um, this whole line of textured pieces, like the only way that I can think to describe this is like a popcorn ceiling. It literally looks and feels like a popcorn ceiling, which I think is really cool. I'm super into it. And he had not only pipes but like a couple of full oil rigs that were this textured um, glass. I don't know. See, I don't know enough about glass blowing to know how this is done. I would like to, and I'm hoping to learn how to blow glass at some point. Not good. I mean, I'm never gonna get good. I don't think. I'm not super artistic, and I just don't have a lot of time to pick up a new craft. But I would like to learn how to at least like blow. I'd like to blow my own pipe at some point in my life, and then just be able to talk intelligently about what it takes to make all of this and what all of this is and what all this means, because I just really don't know. And that's on my list of things to learn. But these pieces are really cool. They've got this texture on them. It's on the face, it's on the neck. It is not on the carb or in the bowl or really around the mouthpiece or on the base of the pipe. So the places that you would think, I really feel like that needs to be smooth, are still smooth. But there's just all this cool texture around the rest of the pipe. And it's really interesting. I mean, it makes it grippy. Like, I don't feel like I'm going to drop this, which I kind of dig. Um, Being somebody who works at a rock climbing gym and spends a lot of time rock climbing, it feels like a textured, like Walltopia wall. If you also climb. So I don't know. It's just, it's cool. It's different. It's this like seafoam green, with sort of this like deep turquoise blue spackle on it. I really like it. It's really nifty. The bowl is a little bit like thin, which is not my usual preferred shape for pipes, but it's cool. It's unique. I like it. Unique, whatever. It's cool pipe, and I like it a lot. So I've got whatever weed I said I'm smoking. Gelato. I have gelato in my new piece from Rad Brad Glass on Instagram. He also makes 710 funnels, which are really convenient ways to fill up your rigs. End of pitch for that artist. Find more on my Instagram. My Instagram is @Sesh Cast. I post pictures of all the glass that I smoke and just a bunch of other stuff. And follow me there @Sesh Cast. You can find more about this artist there. I'm going to hit this weed now. I want to be high. Higher. Cheers. All right. Okay. That pause also included a drink, which was very much needed. I'm smoking in my room today and recording in my room today. Not my typical recording space because I can open a window and I have things to do tonight, so I'm not trying to smell like the reefer for the rest of the night, but I wanted to open a window and not sit in a box. So, uh, anyway, what else? I was going to talk about something else. Stickers. That was what I was going to talk about. I have a few stickers left, like not very many. I have been sending out stickers to anybody who asks me for one because I have them and I meant to give them away at Seattle Hemp Fest, but I didn't get them in time to give them away at Seattle Hemp Fest, so I've just been mailing them to people. I have 3 left. I am planning on getting more at some point, but I not right away. I just don't have a reason to right now. But if a group of people, like if I start to get a stack of people who really want stickers, then I'll happily order more and send those out. But I've got 3 left. If anybody would like those, feel free to shoot me a DM on Instagram or shoot me an email. Whatever works for you. I'm not super picky. I do need to find a better way to post my email. I was looking at the little free website that I get for my hosting service, and it is just not. It's just not. Like, yeah, it's a website, I guess. It's a URL that I can send you to, but it's hot garbage. And if I had more time and more money, then I would most definitely be doing more with the website. So I don't have a good place to post my email, but it's seshcast, GLDLX, @gmail.com. just seshcastgoldilocks@gmail.com. So there's that. If you want one, let me know. I've been sending people two, so like one for you, one for somebody else, but I'm not going to do that with these last 4. I've got one person who already claimed one of them, so my last 3 now. I'm just going to send out one. So if you would like one, let me know. I'll happily send it to you. And then eventually I'll get more. There's that. I'm trying to remember to tell people to review me on iTunes if they want early in the podcast, because I always save it for like the last 3 minutes of the episode. So if you are interested, if you want to help out the show a little bit, if you want to support but don't really want to put in a lot of effort, I don't know, shoot me a review on iTunes real quick. It's helpful, I guess. I have yet to see that really be proven to me, but people tell me it's helpful if you review me on iTunes. So if you would like to, feel free to do that. Instagram, stickers, iTunes review. I think that's it. I think that's all of the major updates right now. A couple collaborations hopefully in the works. Still need to work on some new gear for that. So I think I'm going to go back to the solo episodes for a little while. Although I did have a blast doing that sort of like simulcast, swapcast, whatever you want to call it, with Steve from Baked and Awake. It's episode 36 if you want to go check that out. It was really, really good. It was super fun. We talked about HempFest. I'll leave you to your own devices as to whether or not you would like to explore that conversation. So more of that coming in the future, but nothing right now. I think it's just me. And just me is going to smoke some weed. And then we're going to talk about this episode. So I hope that your day is going great. I hope everything is well for you. I hope that your week has been a little bit smoother than my week. And if it isn't, I hope that it bucks up for you soon, because I'm a little bit overwhelmed right now. But I'm going to hit this weed, smoke this reef, and we'll talk about mistakes for a little while, because that's the name of today's episode, because it's kind of a mistake. Cheers. You ever gone to hit a bowl and then see hair on the edge of the bowl? But the lighter's, oh gosh, oh my god. The lighter's already lit, so you just try and like really do the California corner so you're not catching the hair on the other side of the bowl on fire, so you don't get those nasty, nasty facial terps. Not my favorite as someone with a large beard. Facial terps are real and the worst. Anyway, today's episode. The topic of today's episode is mistakes, because that's what got me here today, recording this episode again, which I guess I recorded the day before and the day after National Podcast Day. I guess yesterday was National Podcast Day. Yesterday as of like when I'm recording this. So I probably should have posted something for that, but whatever. So I recorded episode 38 on Monday of this week, and the whole time I just felt uneasy. I felt like it wasn't going well, which is weird, you know? I mean, it's not like... I had that feeling of you're having a conversation with somebody and it's evidently not going well. They're uncomfortable. You're uncomfortable. The conversation isn't going anywhere. Just that like awkward interaction. And I had that feeling with the podcast on Monday, which was weird because it's just me in a room with a microphone. I mean, I had my cat with me, but nothing crazy. But I just felt like it wasn't going well. It felt forced and not what I wanted this podcast to be. And I think I just actually said the same sentence like every 3 or 4 minutes. And I know that I repeat myself a lot, but it was bad. It just wasn't good. And so I finished it up and I was like, well, that's it, like one and done. It's all the time I've got. I guess that's it. And today, Wednesday, the day before this episode comes out, I thought to myself, I really don't want to put that episode out. I really don't feel good about that. I think that I should redo the episode. Like, I think I need to find time to do a new episode this week, which is hard, yeah, but, if I want to put a podcast out this week, I don't think it should be the one that I recorded and I haven't missed a week yet, so I suppose that leaves me with the option of finding time to record a new episode. And I did. Here I am recording a new episode. Little Inception action for you. I'm recording a new episode because I was able to just look back at the podcast from Monday and say that was not good. I'm not gonna force that square peg into a round hole. I'm not gonna do it. It was a mistake. I'm gonna move on. Not that the episode was like bad or I regret it or anything like that. It just wasn't a good episode. It wasn't quality. And that is something that I'm not sure I would have done 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, having a weed podcast is something I wouldn't have done 4 or 5 years ago. But look at me now, Mom. I have been trying to get better at admitting my own mistakes and admitting when I'm wrong and admitting when something is my fault, because I, for years, have not been someone who is quick to take accountability for my actions. And I don't know that it's ever been in a super toxic way. You know, I don't think it's ever been like a something that has really damaged people around me or anything like that. But I have definitely not wanted to admit when I do something wrong. I'm quick to find an excuse. I feel like I've done this episode already. Maybe I've talked about this before. Maybe I haven't. I don't know. But I'm not doing this episode a third time. I can tell you that. I have always just struggled to admit defeat, admit wrong, admit fault, all of those things. And a lot of that for me has stemmed from my own insecurities of not wanting to be wrong, of not wanting to be those other words that I said. Like, just not wanting to be the center of attention for doing the wrong thing or something being my fault or breaking something or whatever. I don't know. I just really struggled to accept that because I was very insecure and very nervous, and it makes me very, very anxious to have all attention on me in that way. And it just really upset me. And so I've spent a lot of my life making excuses for things or just always seeming to logically find a reason that it couldn't be my fault or that it wasn't my fault or whatever is going on. I'm right. I'm whatever. And I have been trying really hard over, I would say, the last like 2 years, maybe year, to more openly accept things being my fault and more openly acknowledge that, like, I am wrong. I have made mistakes. Whatever happened was because of something that I did. You know, like, I have been trying to own up to things because I don't think I've been super good at that for the last, 20 years. And I think that that's a problem. And I think that that's not only a problem for me, I think that that's a problem for a lot of people. And I think that it's so beneficial and there's so much to be learned from owning up to your mistakes and saying, yeah, you know, you're right. That was me, my bad. But I'm going to fix this. I'm going to be better. I'm not going to do this again. You know, all of those things. But it's been kind of therapeutic for me to admit my own mistakes and admit when I am wrong, because often I think I know something and I don't, and that's okay. It's not bad to be wrong. It's bad to refuse to learn. You know, if you state something you think is fact and someone corrects you, it's not bad that you didn't know the fact. It's only bad if you refuse to acknowledge that what the other person said is the real fact. You know, like, if I say it's 36 degrees outside and you look at the thermometer and it says it's 55 degrees outside, and I say, yeah, well, your thermometer must be broken, and I shiver off with my wool parka and snow pants on a September evening at 55 degrees. Well, not here. September now, it's like 85 degrees, but an October evening when it's 55 degrees. It's not good. It's detrimental. You need to, when what you think is right is wrong, and then learn from that. And then it's not bad. It's okay. Not everybody knows everything. Everybody can't be right all the time. Everybody's not good at everything. Everybody makes mistakes. It happens to everybody. You don't need to refuse the alternative just because you're wrong, or feel guilty, or feel, I don't know. Like, I think that people think it's bad to be wrong, and it isn't bad to be wrong. It's bad not to learn from your mistakes. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's the loop that I'm gonna get caught in here for a second. I'm gonna hit this again, and I'll get back into this. Be right back. Cheers. I got lucky enough to look at the timer at 21:12. Cheers to that, Rush. All right, so, excuse me. I have this philosophy that I've been trying really hard to live my life by for the last, well, I've been trying to live my life this way for a long time, but I'm now pairing that with admitting that I make mistakes, and it's becoming more of a piece of my life. So I try really hard to live by this, like, theory of don't make the same mistake twice. Never make the same mistake twice. What I mean by that is, if someone corrects you, if you do something wrong, if, whatever, if you make a mistake, it's okay. Learn from it. Don't do it again. That makes your first mistake okay. I think people always, their initial reaction to doing something wrong is to apologize. Say, sorry, I'm so sorry, And that's not bad. It's not bad to apologize. But I think what stems from that is that people apologize profusely and then feel like there's no way that they can make up for the mistake that they just made. It's like you've made a mistake. It's this unforgivable mistake, whatever. There's no way to make up for that. The way that you can pay someone back for making a mistake, the way that you can right that wrong, or flip that situation around, is just to make sure you don't make the same mistake again. Learn from your experience, learn from what happens, and move forward, making sure that you prevent that from happening again, and advocating for others not to make your same mistake. That is the best way to make it up to the universe, the person that you feel as though you've wronged, to make it up to yourself, to make it up to whoever for making a mistake. Is just to push forward, make sure that you don't make that mistake again, and try your best to diminish the chances of others making that mistake. And I think that works on a micro level and a macro level. And I don't want to give you a couple examples, because with every example comes some other counter example, some other reason that isn't true. And sure, I suppose that this is flawed. I suppose that this concept cannot be taken to the truest 100% form, because nothing really can. Any philosophy that anybody has, there are holes you can pick. There are little pieces that don't mesh or don't make sense. It's okay, right? We don't know what the meaning of life is because we have not found 100% perfect meaning of life. It's just these things that philosophies and thought processes, whatever. These thought processes, they're not perfect. They're subject to human error. And so I'm sure that mine is as well. And I'm sure that there are loopholes and flaws in my little life, goals here. But what I'm trying to say is that in general, if you screw up, you don't need to apologize 10,000 times. Just don't do it again. And then it's okay. And I've been experiencing this with my own work lately because I keep screwing up the same damn thing every time I open the climbing gym in the morning, and I just can't seem to remember to make it right. But I'm trying really hard to do better about it. And I've really I've caught myself every time my boss comes up to me and is like, "Hey man, you made the same mistake here." I find myself every time resisting the urge to come up with some really BS excuse. Some like, "Oh well, the guy across the street needed my attention, and so I had to run out and fix something with him, and then I forgot it." The last time he told me that I screwed this up, which was earlier this week, I was just like, "Oh, dude, my bad. I'm really sorry. I swear I'm trying to do better at this, and I'm gonna do my best to not let it happen again." And there was no excuse, no extrapolation, no me trying to defer blame away from myself, and it felt good, and it's motivated me more to make sure I don't make that same mistake. Admitting that it was my mistake, admitting that it was my fault, has motivated me much more to try to do better, to try not to make that same mistake, to try and click the right buttons and remember the right number sequences and all this, whatever. Like, just, I've for so long disguised my own mistakes and flaws with excuses, and those excuses have covered up some of those mistakes and flaws in a way to my own eye, and then I am not as critical of myself, and I'm not as motivated and not as dedicated to not making those mistakes again. And there, I think, in there, I think lies the problem. It gets to this point where you make such an elaborate excuse for whatever reason you didn't do something, and then you convince yourself that there really was an excuse, even though you know it was your fault. There was an excuse, and there wasn't an excuse. It was just your fault, but you convince yourself so much that there was an excuse that obviously you don't need to change your own behavior to ensure that that doesn't happen again, because something else caused it, not you. And so by admitting my own mistakes, admitting my own flaws, admitting the times that I'm wrong, I have found myself being more dedicated to self-improvement, and found myself being more driven to work hard at being better and work hard at improving myself and not making the same mistakes. And I think that that's really important. And I think that's a huge chunk of the reason that I didn't try and force the episode out that I recorded this week. I didn't want to make excuses for that episode, which I feel like I would have done. In that episode, I think I was making excuses for that episode, and that's not the person that I want to be anymore. And that's the person who I've been up until the last year or so, when I've been trying really, really hard to push myself to be honest, and push myself to own up to my own mistakes and flaws, and push myself to act that way so that I continue to push myself to be better and to self-improvement. I know I said the word self a lot. I can hear my tongue because of how dry my mouth is. Obviously, the answer to that is water, but first I'm going to smoke, and then I'm going to drink water. I don't really drink alcohol. I'm going to drink water, and then I'll be back to talk more. Cheers. Okay, TBH, I totally don't remember what I was talking about, or like, I mean, I know the name of the episode and whatever, and I know what I was talking about, but I don't really know where I was. I feel like I left off somewhere, and I'm not going to remember to come back to it. So I'm going to go a completely different direction, little tangent here for a minute. I used to listen back to my podcast religiously, and so I had always heard the most recent episode before I recorded the next episode or before the next episode came out. So, like, me releasing episode 38, I would have already listened to episode 37 before I recorded this. I used to be really, really good about that. And about episode 34, I dropped off. So I am, oh gosh, maybe it was earlier than that. No, 34. Maybe it was earlier than that. I think it might have been earlier than that. It had to have been. It had to have been like 24. I fell off and I got really behind, and so I at this point am like almost 18. No, that's not how math works. I am almost like 12 episodes behind right now. I went back and I listened to the Time episode the other day. Boy, oh boy, that was a ride. I have had some stony episodes before. That one might have been the one that the whole time I was like, what am I even saying? Holy smokes. So, I think I don't necessarily want to apologize, but I just want to retroly go back and acknowledge that, yeah, I was really high that day. I don't even really remember. Like, I remember sitting down and doing that episode, but I don't remember the circumstances that led up to me being that freaking baked. Because holy smokes. So if you missed the Time episode and you want more of my podcasts that follow logical thought patterns and talk intelligibly, I'm not sure that I would recommend that one. But if you want some like really half-baked, coated in conspiracy, super stony, you might need to take notes to follow where the heck I'm going, jump back to Time, whichever episode that was. I should have looked, because oof, oh boy, it was a time. It was a time indeed. But that was not a mistake. This other episode, I think if I would have forced it out, it would have been a mistake. It just wasn't good. I saved it. I have it. Maybe someday it'll come out. Maybe that's what my first patrons will get. I don't know. This Patreon thing is weird. I don't know that I really vibe with the Patreon thing. I don't have anything to offer for Patreon patrons, which is why I don't have one. That just seems. I'm sure that it works great for some people. I'm not judging you if you have it. I just personally think that it's kind of weird, and I'm not sure that it's something that I want to do because it just seems strange to me. But I don't know. Maybe someday this episode will get released, or maybe it won't. I don't know that I care. It just wasn't good, and I don't want to put it out right now. And I'm glad that I've put together an episode that I feel better about, because I do feel better about this one. But the moral of the story here is, don't think that you can't accept your own mistakes. Don't think that you can't own up to your own situations. I don't know. I'm running out of ways to say this in a different way. I feel like I just keep saying the same thing over and over again, but like, don't feel like you can't own up to your own problems. Don't feel like you can't own up to your own mistakes, flaws, like incorrect answers, whatever it may be. It's okay to be wrong, as long as you don't continue to be wrong, and as long as you learn from being wrong and learn from your mistakes and learn from your corrections, whatever. Like, as long as you're doing those things, it's not bad. It's okay. And we, as an American culture, for sure, I can't really speak for anybody else, definitely like shame the crap out of people for being wrong. Everybody makes mistakes. It's okay. Just be better, and then you, like, I think A, deserve better, and B, I think we'll get better. Just like, acknowledge your mistakes, acknowledge what you've done. Don't try and wishy-washy around it. Just be honest about it. And I think that that will help you get better. I think that that will help you improve yourself, and I think it will make you more motivated to not make the same mistakes again. I think it's beneficial. I think that's something that I have learned over the last, 9 to 15 months of trying to actively be better about this. And it's been really good. It's definitely kind of hard. I often find myself really, really stressed out about admitting fault to things. Really stressed out. But I always feel better after I do. And things that I don't admit fault to, I feel like stay with me forever. I feel like I feel like I could go back 15 years and find something in my memory banks that I feel like I still need to apologize for because I didn't own up to whatever happened. And I don't want to be that way anymore. I don't want to foster those, I think, in a sense, regrets. I think that's a subcategory of regret for sure. I just don't want to live with that anymore. And so I'm trying hard as I move forward to just acknowledge mistakes that I make, because it isn't bad to make mistakes. I don't know where we got to a point where it was bad to make mistakes. That's how you learn. That's how you grow. That's how you get better. Just don't keep doing the same stupid shit. Then it's fine. That everybody wins. You win. I win. We win. We all win. I don't know. There it is. If I could give you the TLDR of this episode, I would say it's okay to be wrong. Just quit doing stupid shit. I think with that, I'm going to take another hit. Cheers to that, friends. Cheers to that. That was a lot. That was a lot. Just remember, I forgot to tell you what this weed tastes like. I don't remember. Oh man, I'm dead. I'm so dead. That was a mistake. That was the good kind of mistake. That was a mistake. Alright, I think I've regained most of myself here. Holy crap, that was brutal. Oh my god. Okay, so there's that. That's an episode. Boom. Done. Check. Next. I'm glad that I got to put out an episode this week I feel good about, because I do feel good about this one. And that makes me feel good, and that makes me happy. I don't know that I'll ever put that other episode out. Maybe it'll come around someday. Maybe it won't. Who knows? But as far as me and my life goes, I've got this coming out obviously today, this Thursday. New episodes every Thursday. If you're at the end of your first episode of the podcast, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you giving me the time of day. That means a lot. Give me a follow on Instagram if you like, if that's your preferred social media. Again, I'm at Sesh Cast, all one word. Feel free to hit me up there anytime. Check out the pictures of all of the pretty glass that I use. I still have more glass that I've never shown on that Instagram, and I'm trying to get new stuff on there once a week. I am trying to be more active on the Instagram, and I have days where I have lots of story content. Sometimes it happens, so you can follow me for usually glass and weed related things. Sometimes nature. Maybe I should do more nature pictures on my Instagram. People into that? I'm into that. I like nature pictures. Maybe I'll do more nature pictures. Maybe that'll happen on my Instagram story sometime. I don't know. Follow me for nature pictures. Maybe. But the picture of this pipe is up there. If you want to check out this textured glass, it's pretty funky. Again, I'm at Sesh Cast. Done with that plug. Other plugs. I do have a website that you are more than welcome to look at if you like. If you're looking for a concise way to listen to the podcast or read, because I do put some things in the show notes occasionally, not all the time, but typically I try to include some things there. You can find that at seshcast.libsyn.com. Oh, that's what I should talk about. So, I do have an affiliate code for the Lift Innovations grinder. I still haven't figured out what I'm doing with it. I talked about that a couple episodes ago. There is a post on my Instagram about it. I think that was the last morning's episode. So, if you would like to buy a new grinder and help support the show a little bit, you can find that link in the show notes of episode 35. Feel free to check that out if you're interested in a new grinder. I will have something about that on my Instagram soon too. I just have not had the time in life. Life has been real crazy right now. And I'm hoping that it slows down soon, and hopefully when it slows down, I will put something of that up on my Instagram. I look forward to that day. Just right now, it hasn't happened. So if you are interested in new grinder, show notes of episode 35 have all the details on that. I have a YouTube channel you can subscribe to at Sesh Cast. I have a weedtube.com channel that you can subscribe to. It's theweedtube.com. If you've never explored that, that's a fun space to explore. It's a really cool part of the community. I've done episodes talking about it. It is a website specifically for cannabis video content, and it's really great. And I have a singular introductory video on there, and nothing else yet, and hopefully something sooner rather than later, but nothing else yet. So you can find that on theweedtube.com. It is a really cool space. I would encourage you to check out the website if you're looking for more just general cannabis content. I really like it. It's really cool. And they're good people. Mac and Aaron and Joya and Tim and that stoner and the ghost owner, all those guys are just good people. And I really like supporting them. So I think that's about all I've got. Thanks for coming around for this episode. Episode 40, right around the corner. That's kind of nuts. I don't know what next week's episode is going to be about, but whatever it is, I'm sure I'll be high, and I'm sure it'll be weird, and maybe it'll make sense, and maybe we'll laugh, and maybe we'll cry, and we'll definitely smoke some weed. I can tell you that much, which is what I'm going to do right now. And I hope that you can do that along with me, and I hope that you can continue to do it forever and for always. And carry Madame Zeroni up the mountain so I can drink and I can get strong too. Cheers, friends. My name is GLDLX. This has been Sesh Cast. Thank you so much for listening.